This week on the Max Wrestling Podcast,
The Royal Rumble gets rowdy.
a weekend packed full of wrestling.
And we have the honor of being joined by Ring of Honor's very own Kelly Klein.
This is the pretty badass Kelly Klein telling you to turn it to 11 and take it to the max.
From a monumental week last week, which saw the end of Mike Larkin's 364-day reign as Knowledge Champion, and you'll be glad you came back. Welcome to Max Wrestling Podcast, episode 151. I am Dazzy Dangerously, and I'm not with the Butcher this week. Hopefully we'll get him back next week. But he may not be the champion anymore, but he's still our captain. He is, of course, Mike Larkin.
What's going on, man? Longest reigning champ, that is. And again, that was a hell of a special last week. And just shout out to everybody, man. Thanks as always.
Yeah, you still broke a record.
That is true.
And Mike, you are responsible for our special guest this week, so I'm going to hand over to you to make the introduction.
Oh, this is, it's a pleasure. I'm happy to have this guest on. We recently did a 2-part series on the S&M Show Podcast Network, and I brought it over to the shores of Max Wrestling. We are on the line with the great gatekeeper herself, the pretty badass Ring of Honor superstar, Women of Honor competitor, Miss Kelly Klein. Kelly, welcome to Max Wrestling.
Hello, thank you for having me.
You're very welcome.
Thank you for coming on. So we're going to leave all the mainstream stuff till later on, and let's get into this, because you made your ROH debut in 2015, is it right? You had a 533-day undefeated streak.
Well, that depends on who you ask. I think that's what they're officially reporting.
Just slightly longer than you, Mike.
Yes.
Nonetheless impressive.
Of course. Only defeated by Karen Q in ROH.
Well, I don't know if I would really call a count out a defeat
That's what
by
I'm
the
saying.
definition of the word. But I've not been, I've not lost a match by pin or submission, so call it what you will.
There's a
I'll call it what I will.
That's good enough for us. Now, of course, you were trained by BJ Whitmer. What was that like?
So I was more trained with Les Thatcher, and then BJ trained with Les Thatcher years before I did. So he was helping out. So I had Les and BJ, and then another previous student of Les's named Tarek, who were all kind of helping with the training at the same time. And that was really cool because even though Tarek and BJ had both trained under Les, they had also both gone different places and gotten different experiences, had kind of developed different ideas, different backgrounds and everything. So there were times when I could really get feedback and insight from all three of those people that would be different and get kind of different perspectives and be able to take advantage of just such varied knowledge and everything. Les himself has been in the wrestling business for almost 60 years. So he has worked in every aspect of the wrestling business, from in-ring to TV production to writing to training. I mean, absolutely everything. So he is just a complete wealth of knowledge. He was on the forefront of a lot of really big innovations in wrestling in the past. And then to get to the point where I'm, Les Thatcher approved is a pretty big deal.
I think Daz, just to go back to that, I mean, Les Thatcher, I mean, we talk about it, and I got to say, we got to get those T-shirts ready. I'm a Les Thatcher gal. But the thing is, you look at Les and his body of work. I mean, we talk about yourself, B.J. Whitmer, Dean Ambrose, Nigel McGuinness, Jamie Noble, Rosie Umaga, Matt Stryker, the wide Matt Stryker, not Iker, Collier, Charlie Haas, Shannon Moore, Jimmy Yang. I mean, the list goes on and on. I mean, the dude is who of probably one of the greatest trainers out there.
I don't remember which year it actually started, but his training school was the developmental facility for WWE. He's worked for a lot of the major companies.
All right, I don't know what happened. You booted out for a second.
You know what? Let's just do the usual and blame Skype.
Jeez. I was about to say, man, take it away, and then all of a sudden, there you were gone, man. Come back.
I got booted and I didn't even insult anybody.
Oh.
It was a preemptive boot.
Okay, so the Women of Honor tournament has kicked off. You are, of course, the odds-on favorite. How's it going? How's you like your chances?
Well, as you said, I'm, of course, the odds-on favorite. At this point, I have faced a lot of the women that are participating in the tournament, and I have defeated them. So, knowing that I've already faced some of them, and some of them I've defeated more than once. So, I know, what a lot of them have to offer. Even 3 of the 4 women competing from Stardom, I have been in the ring with, not in singles matches, but in tag team situations. So I'm familiar with them as well. So, I feel, as always, I feel prepared, and I will continue to be preparing myself. I had one of the probably more challenging situations in the first round, which was a match that I know a lot of people wanted to see, and a lot of people will be really excited when that comes out on the Women of Honor Wednesday. But I faced Bonesaw Jessie Brooks, who is in a lot of ways kind of my doppelganger. Not even my foil, because she's got, kind of an aggressive attitude too. So it wouldn't even be like we're just so similar. So I knew when the matchmakers put us together in that first round, okay, well, they know that everybody wants to just see her and me beat the crap out of each other, and they want to see who's going to last longer. So I had to last longer. And that's, all it came down to. But I knew going in, like, she was so much like me that while I knew that meant she was going to be a challenge, I also knew that I knew her and what to expect. I knew she wasn't going to give up easily. I knew she was going to come hard. I knew that she was, going to probably be showing up with a lot of my same repertoire. So that was really interesting to be, in a situation where normally, I'm picking people up and throwing them around, and they're not really doing the same to me. I was in a scenario where I was with somebody who could actually do some of the same things to me. So I think people will be really, really happy to see that. And I was, that was a really good kind of kickoff for me to just have that challenge and come through.
Absolutely. Now let's go further back a little bit. How old were you when you started wrestling?
I was probably like 19, I think, when I started.
Nice.
So I was, not, there are definitely some women who start like, actually I wrestled a girl one time when she was 13, so I don't know how that worked. But, and then you've got the girls in Japan that are like 8-year veterans when they're 15. So, but I started, not quite as young, but
it is what it is.
Yeah.
As we like to say on this show, Mike.
Yes, it is what it is. And you know what it is too? I mean, the Japanese influence is great. I mean, we talk about the Stardom athletes that are in there, and I think one you've actually had the pleasure to be with. And I mean, this girl has done a lot of great work in Japan, but I got to ask you about working Jenny Rose. I mean, Jenny Rose is another one. She's done a lot of great work in Japan, great work in Women of Honor. Talk about working with Jenny Rose.
Yeah, she's got a lot of time that she spent in Japan. So I kind of joked when I came back because ever since I've met her, all she ever talks about is how great Japan is, and she misses it and she can't wait to go back. And every time she has an opportunity to go back, she's so happy. And I kind of all that time was like, okay, yeah, it's probably pretty good. But once I went, then I was like, oh, okay, I get it now. It is awesome.
And yeah, I mean, and then we mentioned getting people like Sumi Sakai was another one. I mean, there's so many great talents coming into Women of Honor. I mean, I know Holodead, who was one half of the Twisted Sisters with Thunder Rose, aka Cobra Moon of Lucha Underground, just did some work for Women of Honor. I was very happy to see someone who I've seen out here in the Northeast a lot, Nikki Adams, the Black Rose, did some work for Women of Honor recently as well. I think just overall, it's great to see some of the great talents that are coming through there. And I mean, just like, we just saw the women's Royal Rumble this past week. I mean, you guys are just making history. It's not as far as just with women's wrestling, but this Women of Honor tournament's really heating up.
Yeah. And over the last 2.5 years, we have had, I had been keeping count at one point, and I need to update my count, but we'd had over 30 women compete in Women of Honor. And it was really just incredible to see how many women were working and training. And I mean, there were women from the United States. We had, people from overseas compete. We had women come back who had previously competed in Ring of Honor before they really launched this Women of Honor division. We had women that had more recently graduated the Ring of Honor dojo. We had, just such a variety available, and the fact that there were just so many women to draw from, and in women's wrestling in general, and for us in particular, it's a really great position to be in, where we really can draw from such a huge talent pool, and then get to the point where we can pick and choose and allow the talent to be able to really figure out, if it's a good fit. And there are, some women who it's just like a puzzle piece, and we all just fit together and kind of start to develop this division where we all, have our place and can work with and against each other in different ways that just really work. So at this point, I would have to look back and see how many women we've had come through, but just to be able to give all those different people and a lot of new talent opportunities, and to kind of have access just to figure out really the core group of women who are going to work, and just continue to be able to add people in, like we are with this tournament. You're going to see some people who have competed before, and then some new faces that haven't competed in Women of Honor before. And it's a great place for women's wrestling actually in general to be.
Yeah, and as Mike mentioned, the first Women's Royal Rumble took place this past weekend, and the arrival of Ronda Rousey obviously divided a lot of people. I mean, what's your take on it? How would you feel if somebody like Ronda came into Women of Honor?
I have heard some of the different sides of that argument, and I do understand different perspectives, but I guess for me, it didn't strike me at the time, just because for such a long time, I just expected that she was going to show up there. So at the time, it didn't really occur to me, just because I was just expecting, something. I feel like the women that are in other industries or similar industries have been working really hard, and even there are people that are like, okay, well, we've been doing wrestling or this or that for so long, and then they just waltz right in. Well, those people have been working,
Yeah.
and they've been working hard, and it's maybe like a lateral move for them, but it's not that they just waltz right in. They get to make that lateral move because they've worked so hard, and they've worked to where they are in a position that it makes sense to someone for them to do that. And it makes sense as far as business, for someone who has developed such a brand and such a name for themselves, that it's only going to help everybody. So I don't think that any of the other women involved in that scenario were upset or angry, because I think they all understand that what's good for the entire division and what's good for the entire business is going to be good for each of them. And that's, kind of how I see it. I mean, if we had the opportunity to have Ronda Rousey come into Ring of Honor, that only would have helped the whole company, and that would have helped each of us. So to me, it's, as long as I'm getting paid to do what I love, then I'm pretty happy.
Yeah, see, that's my opinion too. Mike, when I was showing you all the tweets this week, you were saying, "Don't worry, it's at work."
Mm-hmm. And you see also around Royal Rumble time that you also see like these rumors. I think Kelly was a part of them too. Oh, she's going to be in the Rumble. I mean, you do realize that these people have contracts and contracted. I'm just like, come on, man. I mean, it's got to be flattering for you, Kelly, but it's like, God dang, man. These people are contracted to certain companies, but it's like, hey, all right, I see where they're coming. They want to do the fantasy booking.
Yeah, I'm glad people are so excited, and it's kind of cool that we do have fans that watch more than one product, and they see just women's wrestling as a whole. So that's great. But there are sometimes when people ask me questions, and I'm like, wait, what? Like, I don't work there. Why would I be? It just doesn't make sense. But and for me, it's not the be all end all that I have a certain company on my paycheck. Right now, I am able to see my friends and family and live in a place really of my choosing, and I've been able to coach softball simultaneously while wrestling, go to school while wrestling, and it's given me a really good balance of freedom while being able to make a living. So, that's something that really is working for me right now. And that doesn't mean that it's the only way or the right way, or even the only way or right way for me. But right now it is. And for me right now it is. There are definitely other people, and other women in particular, who are in different scenarios. They are newer to wrestling, they're younger, or they don't have other things that are priorities in their life that, for me, that maybe rate at a level where I want to make sure that I can keep those involved in my life. Some people where if they don't have those things and they can just drop everything and move for wrestling, which years ago I was in that position and could have done that. Everybody just got a different story, and they're in a different place, and they want different things and want a different balance in their lives, and that's up to each individual. So, but it is just pretty funny when people say, "Oh, well, you could just do this for one night." Well, no, why would I do that? And why would I go work for them for one night and then, not work for them? And then what does that do to my relationship with Ring of Honor? I mean, that just, to me, that's silly. When I have a really good thing going, I'm not going to do something to jeopardize that, where if it's like a one night thing, then it's kind of like, okay, well, that's sort of a big risk for maybe a lower reward in certain scenarios. That's not them coming to me and offering me a job, which they really can't do right now because I am under contract. So it's just the whole thing. I mean, people they don't think about that stuff, and that's okay. That's great, because that is the behind the scenes kind of stuff. And they are, as fans, watching the story and, suspending reality and doing all that stuff. So that's great, because that's what that is what we want them to do. We don't want them to be obsessing over and analyzing, although some do, the ins and outs of the contracts and the business.
Absolutely. And I mean, we talk about, again, going back to Women of Honor for a second, some of your opponents. I mean, Mandy Leon is another one that really sticks out. I think she's just another tremendous talent. I mean, you got to also work with a Scarlett Bordeaux, also not only in singles, but in tag matches as well. I mean, talk about working with those two ladies.
Yeah, Mandy will be part of the tournament. So she's somebody I've never worked with in singles. I've been in, I think, a 6-woman tag situation with her. Right. So if we end up facing each other, I haven't actually seen the whole bracket, so I don't know how everything lines up. And when once people are able to look at those, then we can start to kind of take our guesses, like who's gonna meet where. So I don't know, but I do know that from what I've seen, I believe that the matchmakers and bracket makers have done it in a way to make it possible for some never before seen matches to potentially happen, as well as some matches that, I think people really want to see. So, then we'll see what happens. But I know that the possibility will most likely be there, for me to have some of these matches that have never happened before.
Absolutely. And I mean, like we mentioned, Mandy Leon, Scarlett Bordeaux. I mean, pretty much anything, like I mentioned, we've talked about you just running the gauntlet, Kelly. But I mean, again, just to hark back with, I mean, there's so many great talents that you can get into. I mean, I know I've seen some of your tweets as well. I mean, Chelsea Green is one I know that I think you would have a great match with. I would love to see you against Casey Spinelli, who's another one out there. Her and Rosemary were a tag team as the Danger Zone. We see her on Impact Wrestling. There's just so many, opponents as well that you could see in the tournament just in general that are just amazing, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I'm really hoping to get an opportunity to wrestle against some of the women from Stardom in singles matches, because I've not been able to do that, and I know those would be some really incredible matchups.
Des, go ahead.
Absolutely, we love first time matches. Now, obviously there's a big connection with New Japan Pro Wrestling with ROH. Do you think it's played a part in more exposure for Ring of Honor in terms of locally?
I think that, that's kind of hard for me to say, just because I don't really know what the buy rates and views are like. I think that here it may have kind of done, I could totally be wrong because I'm completely just guessing, but it may have sort of done the opposite, just because there are a lot of households that get Ring of Honor just on their TV. So those would be people that, would have just easy access when they're flipping through the channels and see Ring of Honor, and then would see and hear about these New Japan wrestlers, and then maybe go, okay, who's this guy, and go look, online and find out more. And then, ideally the hope is that then they, buy the streaming service and watch the pay-per-views and everything. So, and then, vice versa, the hope is that people that are following New Japan and then see these Ring of Honor wrestlers do the same, and then they go pursue that. But my guess would just be that here, based on how many people would just have easy regular access to Ring of Honor, that then those people, hopefully would see these New Japan wrestlers and pursue that.
And yeah, I mean, and then also I just wanted to bring this up as well. I mean, we talked about this before Daz came on. I just want to say also, but besides as a wrestler, Kelly, I mean, probably one of the big things that you're with is fitness. And, you always do these inspirational quotes, and you're just very a positive human being. I just want to get your thoughts on the fitness side of things, because you do great with as far as fitness goes as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's not possible to really be very successful in wrestling without having some level of fitness and self-awareness of what your body's capable of. So that was something that was really important to me in order to continue to improve and advance in wrestling, was just to do the best that I could for my body, and everybody's different. So it took me a long time. I was actually really trying for years and years and years, and I was trying different things that worked for different people, but they just weren't really working for me. And I, like everybody, I am different, and everybody's going to be different. So there are still always obstacles and challenges that I face. So I just, try to learn as much as I can in general, and then learn as much as I can about like what works and what doesn't work for me, and try to find the balance within my life and do what I can, and with, like, recently, I know, Michael, we've talked about, I just moved to a different state. So that was a big challenge, and, it's not really a setback, but definitely something that, I had to kind of take my focus a little bit more for a while there. So, finding those kinds of balances and harmonies in life, and being able to find then what works for me. And, so I like to be able to help people, because for years, people would come to me and ask me questions about things. And I always like to try to just share what I know, for, what works for me, what I've learned, what I've read, share resources. And I think one of the biggest things, though, is for years and years and years, and for as long as anybody can remember, there's always a magazine or a book, and then the internet. There's always the information out there, and that's not really the big challenge. I think for a lot of people, it's not that the information or the articles aren't there, or that the gym isn't there and accessible. It's really finding that motivation and finding that support system. So that's something that I really focus on, because once that honeymoon period goes away, and then you have to fight through sticking with what you're trying to do, that's when it's just really easy to go back to your old habits, unless you've got a really good support system, or something that is helping to motivate you to keep going and to keep pushing and to fight through those times that are challenging, when it would really just seem like a good idea to give up. And, so that's what I focus on, because I can't tell every single person what's best for them. They've got to, try to figure that out. I will help offer suggestions and resources, but the main focus for me is just to offer a place where people can get that kind of support and motivation.
Absolutely. And I would safe to say Ring of Honor will give you a pretty good push. Did you know from the beginning they were going to give you such a good run with only one loss, which isn't really a loss?
Yes.
I really didn't know what was going to happen, and it's not that certain ideas weren't presented to me, because they were, and there were actually some ideas at the beginning that, for various reasons, kind of didn't really happen the way they've been presented to me. With that being said, I always take everything with a grain of salt anyway, because in anything, and in wrestling for sure, you never really know that something's happening until it's actually happening, because things can change in an instant. And there are so many variables and so many moving parts that can cause something just to reroute. So every day it's, no matter what I know or what I've been told or what I think I know, I just, until I'm like walking through and going down the entrance ramp into a match, I don't even know, even if somebody said, oh, you're going to wrestle so-and-so. Well, who knows what could happen? So I just, my goal from the beginning was that I think I knew what they wanted to do, not as specific as framed in the question, but I knew what kind of the expectations were for me. But I had to deliver, and I had to, be able to hold up my end, because, I knew that if I didn't, and this is still the case, if I don't deliver on what they need, then they will find someone else who can do that. And that's, completely within their rights. If that's what they need and that's what the job is, then they need someone who can do that and fulfill that. So as far as, that undefeated and that streak and everything, had I gone out there, I mean, you would hope this wouldn't happen, because, I did try out, so they did know what I was capable of. But if for some reason I had gone out there and, froze in front of the cameras or, whatever, or, just freaked out in front of the crowds and couldn't deliver or perform the way I needed to, then yeah, they would have totally rerouted that. So
I think I can also say about that is, I mean, you've had, again, a hell of a run so far with Ring of Honor, doing the Women of Honor tournament. As far as professional wrestling goes, and I'll say this to you right now, if it all ended, I know you're still going to be kicking ass for the next upcoming years, but I gotta say, if you were not wrestling, and I've told you this, but you definitely need to do like some open mics or something, because that voice of course is just had to bring that up.
Well, I actually went to school for music, so that is my, that would be my other career, and that's, that's what I was doing my student teaching simultaneously while I was wrestling for Ring of Honor. So just to go back, that's an example of something I was able to maintain and pursue. So I've done a lot of cool stuff with music. I was able to perform with my choir at Carnegie Hall. I was able to compete in the World Choir Games with that choir. I've been able to be part of some composition and performances. So that's definitely something that I've, always continued to do, and will definitely continue in some capacity in music or education as well.
Cool. Now, again, we mentioned the Rumble, and we saw a lot of old school women come back for the match. Who were your inspirations for getting into wrestling?
I wasn't allowed to watch wrestling, so I didn't watch any of them. I got into wrestling because I went to a live wrestling event at Heartland Wrestling Association, Les Thatcher's school, and I got completely hooked. One of the first women I ever saw wrestle was actually Madison Eagles, when she was in the United States wrestling at Heartland Wrestling Association. So I would say, she's definitely somebody who made a big impact on me when I saw her. But if anything, actually, Trish Stratus kind of was a little bit of a roadblock, because when I started wrestling, my mom was really not really going for it. She was really concerned, and a big concern was because she had seen the stuff in the Attitude Era with Vince McMahon and Trish Stratus. So I thought she was absolutely fabulous in the Rumble, but oddly enough, I know that she was cause for concern for my mom.
Oh yeah, I mean, I was about 10 at that time. I think if my mum had seen that, I wouldn't be doing a wrestling podcast today.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like you were 10, I was 9, and I'm watching freaking Vince McMahon making Trish Stratus bark like a dog. I'm like, God dang, man.
Yeah, that she was a little worried about that. I remember one time I think she kind of brought that up. Well, what if you were wrestling and then your boss asked you to do this?
Well, it is very, very different these days. I think women get a lot more respect in the industry these days, especially in the last couple of years.
Agree.
Yeah, and part of that was, and I've said this before, and I've said it at the time. I think there are a lot of women who have done, they've done that, and they've done the pillow fights and the lingerie fights and everything because, they wanted to wrestle and they had to put up with that stuff to do the stuff they wanted to do. And those women putting up with that stuff so that they had the opportunity to show what else they were capable of is really a huge part of what brought us here. And it doesn't mean that every woman who ever did a pillow fight or lingerie match, showed a great match or great athleticism, but there were enough of them that did that stuff and got through it. And I'm sure, they had fun because, like, who doesn't have fun slapping your friend in the face with a pillow? But, but as far as wrestling goes, I really think we do have to kind of respect what some of those women did put up with so that they could get women seen and get them in wrestling, and then take that opportunity to show what else we could do.
Okay. And I can't be amiss. And Kelly, again, thank you so much again for coming on Max with us today. I know you and I will work together in the future, and if you ever want to come back on with Max as well with us, we'd be more than happy to have you.
That would be awesome. I'd love to.
All right. So, Daz, I was talking to you about this as well, and Kelly and I talked about it on our series as well.
Yeah.
Kelly, we got to get that match with you in the UK in 2018.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I would love to. I'm glad to be on a podcast and, overseas officially.
Yes.
But yeah, I would love to be able to be involved in, I've said this before to some people, but there are some really incredible women over there. I've gotten to work with a couple of them, but there are so many that I really, really have got to get a chance to work with. I got to get over there.
Oh yeah, some great talent over here.
All right.
I'd have to be there for a while, I think, too, to get a chance with, there's so many.
Exactly, yeah. Oh, man. But yeah, I mean, you got to get in the UK. And I don't know if you've worked in Mexico yet, Kelly, but Mexico is another one I could see you definitely with some luchadoras as well.
Yeah, I have not gone down there yet, so who knows?
So we can both say it, and we can all agree that the future is bright for you, Kelly. So absolutely. And Kelly, before we do close this out with you, please promote the Facebook, Twitter, Instagram again, the upcoming events, Women of Honor, Ring of Honor. The floor is yours. Thanks so much, as always.
Absolutely. Thank you. All of my social media, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram are Real Kelly Klein, RealKelley, and I will be appearing next on February 9th and 10th in Concord, North Carolina, and Atlanta, Georgia, for Ring of Honor. So if there are even tickets left, make sure you go get those, and always check ROHWrestling.com to see the upcoming schedule of events. I think they've got them up there through like May or June, so far, and they'll be adding more events as they're confirmed. So, but I know that they've been selling out a lot of buildings. Atlanta in particular is often sold out pretty quickly. So just always keep an eye on that. And I should be at most, if not all, of the Ring of Honor events, whether I'm appearing on a meet and greet or like we just saw, I did commentary with Ian Riccaboni or competing in the ring. So hopefully I'll be around most of the time, but no matter what, we have gotten to the point where the women are going to be represented on all of the shows, maybe with a couple of exceptions, but so there's always going to be something.
Awesome.
And Kelly, again, thanks so much. And Daz and Kelly, just please, guys, again, it's just been an absolute pleasure. And Kelly, I'll be in touch with you in the near future as well.
It's been
awesome. Thank
honor.
You.
It really has been.
Thank you so much, Daz. I'm glad we got you back.
Oh, me
yes.
Thank you again for coming on. Hope you have a great day.
Thank you as
and
well.
thank you for getting up so early too.
Yeah.
All right, Kelly. We'll definitely be in touch again. Thank you so much as always. It's always a pleasure.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Before we go to a break, don't forget the next time we bring you a championship special is April 7th as we present the 3rd annual Promo Mania featuring Mike Larkin versus the new and first 2-time Knowledge champion Kenny Killer for that metaphorical strap in a showdown over 1 year in the making. We'll also be predicting NXT TakeOver and WrestleMania and the debut of the Iron Bank contract, guaranteeing the winner a shot at the Knowledge Championship at any time in the following 12 months. No copyright infringement intended. And the first theme song is Machines by All Good Things, that's taken from their album of the same name, Machines, and it's available right now on iTunes and Spotify. For more information, go to maxwrestling.wix.com/maxwrestling/promomania3.
Light it up, now I'm burning. Feel the rush of adrenaline. We are young, we are strong, we will rise. 'Cause I'm back from the dead tonight. 'Cause we are machines. Started with a stone cold heart. We don't need to create a machine. Cities of resistance falling under our feet. Our machines. Emotionless, no battlefield can hinder us. 'Cause we light it up, now I'm burning. Feel the rush of adrenaline. We are young, we are strong, we will rise. 'Cause I'm back from the
Welcome back to the Max Wrestling Podcast. Very, very big thank you to Kelly Klein for joining us in the first part of the show. And now we have another announcement for you. It's not another special guest, but we do have an announcement. The news first broke actually on our interactive Max Wrestling Podcast group on Facebook yesterday. No, not yesterday. It was a couple of days ago actually. It was yesterday at the time of recording. There will be a brand new Max Wrestling spin-off show coming very soon, where we will be focusing entirely on New Japan Pro Wrestling. It won't be a weekly show. It'll be every now and then after every pay-per-view, after every tournament. So look out very soon for New Japan Max Wrestling Podcast, the spin-off show. Speaking of New Japan Pro Wrestling, they pretty much kicked off the weekend of wrestling that we had this past week. That just I can't really think of that much to complain about. Every show had something good. Again, we're going to be talking about New Japan in the spin-off show very soon, but for now, there was some stuff this weekend, and headlines were made when Kenny Omega was apparently kicked out of the Bullet Club by Cody Rhodes. Sorry, Cody.
So here's the thing, man. Like, I was checking out the highlights of this because I heard big things, and you always New Japan does big things. So we got Switchblade Jay White as the new United States champion. Cody Rhodes giving the crossroads to Kenny Omega. We have Sho and Yo beating the Young Bucks, and they regain the IWGP tag titles. We got Minoru Suzuki is now the new Intercontinental champion after referee stoppage. I mean, a lot of big things happened.
The guy's a killer.
He is the man and Shamrock. I mean, the dude is just tremendous. Suzuki-gun. I mean, the whole nine, man. It's great. And the thing is, I'm going to say this right now, but I know we'll do Impact in 60 seconds later, but this actually ties into New Japan because New Japan has their California shows in March. And obviously, we got to get Jericho and Naito on that big show. We got to get Omega and Cody Rhodes. Cody, sorry. But yeah, so we got to see a lot of great stuff. But here's the thing, man. They already sold out in like 20 minutes. So here's what you got. You got, come see New Japan Pro Wrestling, Kenny Omega, Cody Rhodes, Chris Jericho, Okada, blah, 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 blah. Tickets are on sale, it's already sold out. And then you have Impact Wrestling running on March 25th, and it's like, hey, guys, please come see us. So
yeah, you can have dinner. Yeah. You can have dinner with Gail Kim or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, please come see us. Dude, I'm going to rant. I saw the I gotta send it to you because I forgot. I should have sent it to you before, but I'm gonna tell you about it. But I'll show you.
All right.
So they have the Long Beach show coming, and you look at the poster, and you're looking at this, and you're like, "Where's Austin Aries? He the dude is your champion, and he's not on the poster."
What the fuck?
Exactly. Like, the dude's your champion. Like, do we not know who's coming and who's going? I mean, we did see the big one this week, as Jeremy Borash, who we never thought would leave Impact Wrestling, is now in the WWE. So
that just came out of nowhere.
It did come. It's like an RKO. It came out of nowhere. I mean, hey, Jeremy Borash is in the WWE working with NXT. We'll probably see him getting involved with the Woken, the Woken Warriors and everything. But I mean, it's interesting. I mean, that's a great get. That's a Triple H get for you right there, Jeremy Borash.
Yeah, I mean, I've always said I love JB. So much respect for him. Actually, a highlight of JB is when I attended Impact, or was it still TNA back then, in Manchester one year. Of course, we take signs, don't we? That's what we do as wrestling fans. One that caught his attention was a sign that featured, I think it was EC3, Lashley, and AJ Styles, because he was still there. And the caption said, "No famous family required." So yeah. he liked that one.
Well, here's the thing, and yes, that probably was still when it was TNA, before it was GFW Impact and Impact GFW, and hey, we have 6 eyes. Oh, hey, we have 4 eyes.
The thing with JB that I don't think many people realize unless they actually attend Impact shows, or WWE shows now, is that JB is so good in between segments being taped at keeping the crowd excited and loud and getting them riled up.
Absolutely, man. I mean, he's been out here for when they did the Westbury shows out here. I mean, he's great at livening up the crowd. I mean, just great shows back in the day. And I'll be honest with you, when they came back for Long Island and Staten Island, I did not go to those shows because I'm just like, it's going to be the same stuff. And to be honest with you, it's a different roster from what we had back in the day. And then you look at the Northeast out here, man. They were supposed to run in Connecticut, but ticket sales were so low that they couldn't run in Connecticut.
Yeah. I mean, I said to somebody this week, I think it was after the JB news broke, I mean, I hope TNA Impact can turn it around, but it's just kind of one bad move after another, and there's one person leaving after another, and then another person leaving, then another person leaving, then the management changes, and then the name changes, and then they got more sides, and then they got less sides. Without sounding too negative, it's a clusterfuck.
Well, look at what they were going to do. Don Callis, who says one thing, I'm not going to be on commentary. But what was the original idea? They were going to have – so they transitioned Josh Matthews out because he's Matt Seidel's spiritual advisor, spiritual animal, whatever the fuck they're doing there. Yeah. And you were supposed to see Jeremy Borash and Don Callis in the booth. So it's like, Don, you said you're not going to be a part of it. Then it was supposed to be you and Jeremy Borash in the booth. And then something happened in between there where JB's like, no, I'm done.
I also find it hard to believe Don, because another thing he said was that they were putting the Grand Championship on Josh Matthews to retire it. Now Matt Seidel's the freaking champion after Austin Aries won it. What the fuck is going on?
They need to scrap it. There's talk. I mean, you never know what to believe because they're talking about this and they're going to retire it or we're going to scrap it, but I don't know.
And now there's 2 new champions.
I don't even want to, but we'll get to that when we get to Impact in 60 seconds. It makes me sick because there actually might be more releases, which I'll talk about when we get to there. But yeah, I just figured I'd mention because the New Japan tie, because they're running the same date. And I'm sorry, people, but what show would you rather want to go see? You want to go see Jericho and Naito and friggin' all these great matches, or do you want to go see Eli Drake versus Johnny Impact for the upteenth time?
Oh, I mean, I like both of them, but
I like them both too, man. But it's just like, there's a reason why people are going to go to California, because you know you're going to get Jericho.
And Naito for the first time.
And Naito, I mean, yeah. And I'll be honest with you, man, we got to get that New Japan WWE relationship. I mean, if Impact thinks they're going to because they got Don Callis. Okada remembers is what I'm saying.
Speaking of Impact, we saw a very familiar Impact face in the NXT crowd at TakeOver, which I gotta say, I didn't like, because I, of course, wanted him to go to the main roster, and that's EC3.
You know what, man? I'm actually okay with it because it adds more talent to the NXT brand, and I think there are going to be a lot of call-ups after WrestleMania. So I'd love to see him go against guys like Andrade Cien Almas. Another one would definitely be, once he comes back, you get to rekindle and rehash that EC3 Drew McIntyre feud. I think that will be some great matches. Yeah, there's a lot of great matches that he could have down in NXT. I mean, the last time we saw him in NXT was in 2013. His last match was actually against Big E. But yeah, man, there's just so many different crop of talent down there, and there's so many great matches that he can have. I would love to see EC3 against Adam Cole, or whatever you do with him. I mean, it's going to be great.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I'm sure he'll be great in NXT. I just wanted to see that surprise debut on the main roster, and then the huge pop that he would have got.
Yeah, EC3 at number 3 in the Rumble, but no. Come on, dog. That's a dead. You have friggin' Ty Dillinger coming in at 10 again, but then he gets attacked by his fellow Canucks and Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. But I'm like, you could EC3 at number 3.
And then he completely ignored it on SmackDown and completely forgot about it.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
But I'm like, what's that? I mean, you have Baron Corbin come in and like, you're still here? Unlike your Money in the Bank briefcase, Baron. Go fuck yourself.
Burn. Yeah. 2 great matches actually that I forgot to mention. One, of course, was from New Japan, which was Omega and Switchblade. Outstanding match.
Tremendous.
And then, of course, was the main event at TakeOver, which was Almas and Gargano. Absolutely blew my mind.
It did. You know what? I was okay with him winning because it was the underdog story, and he fought so valiantly. And I was so happy that they got Candice LeRae involved with that interaction with Zelina Vega. And it made for a great story, man. And then we have Tommaso Ciampa come out at the end and hit him with the crutch. So we're obviously going to get Gargano and Ciampa at the Mania, TakeOver, which Gargano got to get that win, man.
I mean, we all called that weeks ago, but it was still good. Popped pretty hard for Candice LeRae jumping the rail and just taking out Zelina Vega.
Yeah.
But so many false finishes and near falls. It was such a good match.
It was good. Top to bottom, that card was good. I mean, Velveteen Dream and Cassius Ohno had their botches in there. But, dude, that match was great. He was going to knock him out in 30 seconds. He dings him, and then friggin' Cassius Ohno knocks out his mouthpiece.
And Adam Cole, Aleister Black. Man, that was a rough match.
God, the chair, the back, the ladder. I mean, everything in that match was just, it was stiff. And then at the end, he's like, "I'm gonna end you." Whap, Black Mass, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, and the kendo stick mid moonsault, just sick.
Yeah, man. Oh,
just once again, NXT knock it out of the park.
Yes.
Now we get to the Royal Rumble. I know we spoke to Butcher throughout the week who wasn't really happy with the Rumble, and which is fine. A lot of people have had their complaints about it. I mean, me personally, I loved both Rumble matches. I think all the title matches were left a little bit to be desired. Maybe they were just overshadowed by how big both Rumble matches were. I mean, the only one that really was memorable was the Triple Threat match.
I really did like the dichotomy in that matchup. AJ Styles with Owens and Zayn. I mean, Owens was hurt, so you know he had to work around that. Pretty much, I thought the whole Rumble card was actually not bad. I did enjoy the men's Royal Rumble. It popped me to see the Hurricane in the Royal Rumble match and his interaction with Cena. I thought that was funny. Ray which, yeah, he's going to Impact. But, yeah, the one-night appearance there at number 27, he got a great pop. I mean, who knows? I mean, he could still go to that company, but, dude, it was so funny.
The great thing about it is, obviously, last time Ray was in the Rumble, he got booed out of the building, and it was in the same building because everybody was expecting Daniel Bryan.
That's true, yeah, man. What was that, like 2014, 2015? He comes in at number 30 and he gets booed because everybody wanted Daniel Bryan, and then you don't get him, you get Ray.
And then cheer when he gets eliminated. So it was a nice redemption for Mysterio in the same city.
And he looked great. He really did look great.
He's in tremendous shape.
Which is good. That's really, really good. And I mean, the thing with him, man, is I don't think he wants to do a full-time contract. I think that's the big thing about it. Yeah. He doesn't want a full-time contract, and that's what they wanted to get him for.
I mean, as far as I know, it was just a one-time deal with WWE. It was a nice image as well, seeing Cena, Ray, and Orton next to each other, and then you got Nakamura, Balor, and Reigns.
Well, yeah, it's the past versus the future, and I mean, it was a great dichotomy. And speaking of cruiserweights, Drake Maverick, Rockstar Spud, the GM of 205 Live.
For some reason, I didn't see that coming.
I knew he was going to be on there, but I didn't think he would be the GM. You know, I think they'd have him wrestle, but no, he's the GM.
I mean, it kind of annoys me because in Impact, he was very much in a non-wrestling role for a lot of his time there too. And people don't realize Spud can go.
He can. I always felt like this. So, dude, at the time, we had Mark Andrews leave that company, Impact Wrestling, to go participate in the UK tournament. Yeah. And I'm looking at Rockstar Spud, who's in the middle of a feud with frickin' Hornswoggle. And I'm like, dude, you should be in that tournament. What are you doing?
Man. I mean, he was the first British Boot Camp winner, so I just think they could have used Spud a lot better. I mean, hopefully he's not a GM for long and he starts having some great matches on 205. Who knows? Maybe I'll start watching 205. Honestly, I've never watched a whole episode of 205 Live.
It was special because, you know, we had the opening matches in the tournament. I mean, Cedric Alexander and Graham Metalik had a great match. We got to see Tyler Bate and TJP have a great match as well. Yeah. Unfortunately, Tyler Bate's out. And Tyler Bate had a great match at Roderick Strong this week. But here's the thing, man. Pete Dunne and Roderick Strong is going to be a great match. I know we're bouncing around, but we'll get to NXT. And Pete Dunne and Roderick Strong is going to be great for the UK Championship. Yeah. Including the UK talent for the Cruiserweights. That's just great dichotomy right there. And I'm looking forward to see who else is in this tournament. Who knows? We could also see the return of Rich Swann in this tournament since he's been acquitted of all charges.
Yeah. We're waiting to find out on someone else's charges. But again, we're not going to talk about that because it's very, very personal. And it's very, very controversial, depending on your point of view of it.
Exactly. I mean, the only thing that I will say about this, and this is the only thing, if you are an indie promoter and you want to book this man through all this stuff that's going on, you are an idiot. And same with Impact Wrestling. Do not book him. Stay away with all that's going on, man.
Yeah, that's not to say that...
I mean, innocent until proven guilty, obviously. Yeah. Still, it's just... I mean, with all that's going on, you got to stay away from
It's just bad publicity at the moment.
It is.
Until you find out the truth or whatever. So, yeah, TakeOver was great. Royal Rumble was great. And, of course, I was really surprised the men's match was on so early. But, I mean, it's nice that the women get the main event in the first ever Rumbles match. Obviously, they needed some cool-down matches in between. So, you know, it makes sense that they put the men's match on so early. Like we said, there was a couple of surprises. I think obviously it topped last year's. Last year's was a shambles. But honestly, I said this was the first Rumble match at the end that I've been completely satisfied with since like 2001 when Stone Cold won it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm looking at these final. I'm like, and if they have Roman Reigns win in Philadelphia for the second time, man. That crowd will riot. And I like Roman Reigns, but it's great that we got to see Nakamura win. We're going to get Nakamura and Styles. From the looks of it, man, we had Ronda Rousey, so I'm thinking we're going to get Charlotte and Ronda. We're going to get Asuka and Alexa Bliss. Yeah. We're going to probably get John Cena and Elias, which a lot needs the win, but I could definitely see Cena going over. And I think it's like last year. Remember how we were all for Nikki? Oh, yeah. I love and we wanted to see The Miz and Maurice win, but I was the only one who picked Cena and Nikki Bella, and then they did what they did. But yeah, and the whole thing is, man, I could see Cena winning at Mania, but Elias would be better off with the dub in that matchup.
He needs it because Cena's just putting him down every time they come into contact with each other.
Agreed. I mean, and then they're in the Elimination Chamber match, which so far it's Braun, who absolutely murdered Kane on Raw. We have Elias, we have John Cena, and then we got 3 other participants who are going to be in it. But here's what I could see. If Roman's in that match and they want to do Lesnar Reigns, I could see Roman winning, because I think the other rumored match for Braun is they want to do Braun and Triple H. Which...
Well, I heard it was Miz and Braun.
Miz and Braun. Here's the thing. I heard Braun and H. I heard Miz and Braun. I mean, here's the thing, man. I don't know. I don't want to see him and Miz in a way just because I think he should be going for the World Championship. I mean, what a comeuppance. I mean, Brock, he did the whole thing at the Rumble. You haven't beaten me, even though we forget No Mercy. But you didn't pin me in the match. And then you have the ultimate culmination being that Braun beats Brock at WrestleMania. I mean, don't call me crazy here, but that's the story of it. And you have Braun win the title finally. But I don't know, man. You never know how that company works.
Well, I'm not sure if we're going to get to see Brock and Braun in the same match again after this past weekend.
Oh, dude, man. God dang. I mean...
You know what? I'm completely on Braun's side with this, because it was an accidental stiff knee. It happens, but for Brock to react the way he did and deliver 2 legit punches, I mean, this guy's a former UFC champion. If he can't take an accidental stiff shot, then he's in the wrong business.
Exactly. I'm watching that. I'm like, okay. I mean, the knee was stiff, but I don't think he meant to, clip him like that. But then friggin' Brock just clobbers him right in the friggin' face. I'm like, dude, it was an accident. Chill.
Didn't put him down, though.
No, it did not, because the man is superhuman. And I'll be honest with you. Did you see the mixed tag challenge, by the way?
I didn't, but I did see the end of it with Alexa and Braun.
Okay, isn't that great that he's showing the personality, and we're going to go all the way, Braun? And then you're like, wait, what? All the way? And then all the way to the end of the mixed tag challenge.
It's good that we're seeing that, but I don't really want to see it on Raw, because he's got that monster persona.
Exactly. And by the way, we also did find out that next week's match, it's going to be Jimmy Uso and Naomi against Goldust and his new tag team partner, because Alicia Fox, I believe, has a hurt tailbone. She's injured. We got Mandy Rose filling in for Alicia Fox.
Rose Gold.
Rose Gold, yes.
I mean, it makes sense. She wears gold. There
He's
you go.
Goldust. It's going to be good.
But yeah, I mean, the good thing about this mixed match challenge is it doesn't play into main roster storylines, but we're getting to see more personality from everybody involved, especially Braun teaching Alexa Bliss how to flip a car, which didn't happen.
Bend your knees, Alexa. Use your knees.
I've been sweating that shirt.
Well, you know what else I got to say to that, right? Braun, you can't be doing this. I'm sick and tired of having these conversations with you. You're right, Kurt. I'm sorry.
Oh, man.
I'm sorry that I do it even more. I'm going to hate Brock. I love it. The vid is great.
I found so much humor in that, because Kurt Angle just is going nuts saying, you've got to stop doing this. You've got to stop putting people in danger. Wait, you put him in a last man standing match.
I did my job, Kurt.
If you don't want him to hurt people, don't put him in a last man standing match, Kurt. I know it's not really him booking it. I'm just speaking kayfabe.
Sure, kayfabe. Kayfabe, brother. Kayfabe.
Kayfabe lives, dude.
It does. It does.
They didn't exactly have the best camera angle for that table flip on Kane, because obviously you could see he was under the curtain. The table was never going to hit him.
Exactly, yes. I mean, then they had to build the table ringside for them.
Oh, with barely any space between the ring and the table. Just Coach is like, this is my first night back.
So, we mentioned Elias is in the chamber. What did you think of the whole Bray Wyatt-Matt Hardy dichotomy after that? I mean, they're just laughing and smiling again, doing the same stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I want to see more from these two. It was, I think neither of them were in the Rumble long enough. because they started eliminating people together and then they eliminated each other. I just think they could have spread that out a bit more.
And the thing is, too, we don't get a match like that involves the compound at Mania. And I really don't want to see this match again, even though the refrigerator follows the Max Wrestling Podcast on Twitter. I don't want to see House of Horrors 2 with Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt.
Oh, I hated the House of Horrors. I don't. Speaking of the Chamber, I don't really want to sound like a broken record, but
Go ahead.
why is Cena in it? Why does he
Because-
need to be in the Chamber instead of Finn Balor?
You know what it is, too? I'm going to say this. You know, you mentioned Miz and Braun. I'm going to say if they don't do Miz and Braun, if they go with the Braun Triple H idea, I could definitely see Finn Balor challenging the Miz for the Intercontinental Championship.
It's a good start, but I mean, he still owed his rematch, by the way, for the Universal Championship.
Exactly. The thing is, I think it's the whole Triple H is hiring him, but Vince is like, he's too injury prone, damn it. We can't have him in the morning, man. He's too injury prone.
Well, speaking of Vince, obviously he announced XFL's coming back last week, which we all knew was coming.
Oh my God.
Maybe,
He hates coming back.
but maybe it's a sign of good things to come, because since Vince made that announcement, a lot of good things happened this weekend, which makes me think Triple H was more involved in the booking than Vince was.
Vince, focus on the XFL. Let
Yes,
Triple H
please.
handle it.
Give,
Please,
give us
just
Triple H.
Just give us Triple H. Go do the XFL with Dick Ebersol and get He Hate Me back and just bring Ricky Ortiz. I mean, Ricky Ortiz, rally up there, was a part of the XFL briefly. Go get Ricky Ortiz. I know he's married to Layla now, but go get Ricky Ortiz.
Yeah, Ricky, not Tito.
Ricky Tito, yes. Oh, don't you get started about Tito Ortiz. Oh, man, the man thinks he's such hot shit. Look at me, I got Jenna Jameson. Don't get me wrong, he's a great fighter, but god dang, he did not need to be a part of Impact, part of the fucking Aces and Eights. I'll rant about that all day. Friggin' August 1st is coming. Then it gets over like a fucking fart in church. Oh my god, it's Tito Ortiz. Who gives a fuck? And then speaking of who gives a fuck, I had a little thing because Scott Steiner, as we know, is now Eli Drake's tag team partner, and they're going to go against LAX. But I hate to say this, people. The last time we saw Scott Steiner on Impact, and I'm not talking about the matchup that actually exceeded my expectations. I'm not talking about Steiner and Josh against JB and Joseph Park with the whole Abyss thing, which was actually better than what people expected. But if you go back to that taping when Scott Steiner comes back, the crowd went mild. Nobody cared. I'm
Crickets.
sorry.
Absolute
crickets.
crickets.
And I love Scott Steiner. I mean, he's very entertaining, but he's not the Scott Steiner of old. The dude is washed up. The man is the owner of Shoney's now. So you got the owner of Shoney's back at Impact Wrestling. And I know he could kill us, but the man is not the same as he was back in the day.
No.
Exactly.
I mean, looking back now, he was overrated in 2003 when he came to WWE.
Well, the problem with that, too, was he was hurt. And then he comes in and he does the match with Triple H, which everybody blames Triple H for that. No, it's called Triple H was trying to work around him, and he just shit the bed. That's what that was. It had a great build, and then Scott Steiner shit the bed. All right? That was not Triple H's fault on that. And I know Triple H at that time was the burial king. Rob Van Dam, Booker T, Kane. But, I mean, the man was the burial king. But that particular match was not Triple H's fault. I'm sorry. I had to defend the game on that one.
I'll defend the game all day. Till I'm blue in the face, I will say Triple H is a
Till
hell of a
I'm blue
worker.
in the face, bro. I am not blaming Triple H.
Even today, Triple H is a great worker in the ring.
Exactly. And I think if they do him and Braun will kill him and yeah. So yes. I love Braun. Go ahead.
Now with the Rumble winners, of course, they are both Japanese. Obviously, people were gonna troll and just say, "Oh, why they won the Rumble? They can't even cut a full promo." Look, Asuka cut a full promo on Raw. It's not her fault you don't speak Japanese.
And the thing is, too, people don't think it's going to draw because they don't speak English, blah, blah, blah. Do you know how big that Japan market is? And, I mean, come on. And you know that there's going to be a relationship now. I mean, if that's not a sign that Nakamura and Asuka win the Rumble, both two tremendous Japanese wrestlers win, I don't know what is. I mean, you're going to have Asuka win. Nakamura and AJ Styles is the rematch from Wrestle Kingdom, but it's on WrestleMania. And, I mean, I'm really looking forward to that, man.
Now, here's the thing with Butcher. He doesn't have high expectations of the way WWE are going to let him have that match.
And I don't blame Butch on that. I mean, I really don't. But here's the thing. If you get Triple H around that, like we said, Vince, go do the XFL. Just go. But, yeah, if you get Triple H involved with that, I think we can actually see something special.
Absolutely. I mean, we've seen these two work together and they put on an instant classic.
Exactly.
just let him go. Let them do what
Just
they got to do.
let him do it. And instant classic, not to be confused with Christian Cage.
Yeah. Captain Charisma.
Captain Charisma.
Who I thought was a shoe-in for the GM role on 205, but
Yeah, but freaking you go with Spud. And I thought it would be great to see the Hurricane as the GM. And I think one of the other rumors I saw was Goldust because he was involved with Cedric Alexander. But no, I think Spud, Drake Maverick. I don't know how we got Drake Maverick, but okay. But I mean, whatever.
yeah, because what's his real name, isn't it?
Oh God, now you're gonna bug me. Now this is gonna.
It's not
Get-
Drake. It's a common name. His real name.
It's
But
a
I can't remember what
common
it was. I think it's Jonathan something.
James Curtin.
James. I knew it began with a J.
And here's the thing too. His wife, his soon-to-be wife, I believe, Miss Renee Michelle, who we saw in the Mae Young Classic. I mean, he's got a beautiful wife. She's taller than he is, but he's got a beautiful soon-to-be wife. Which I tried not to laugh at that because you have like this moment where he's proposing to the love of his life, but I'm like, dude, she's like a foot taller than you are.
I mean, to be fair, most people are a foot taller than Spud.
Well, yeah, that is true. But I like Rockstar Spud. I think he's a great addition. And you got Nigel praising his fellow Brett on a commentary. And I mean, if Nigel was the GM, I would have been great with Nigel because he was a great matchmaker for Ring of Honor and commentator as well.
Yeah. I'm not going to say anything. I was a fan of Spud. When he first came to Impact, I bought his t-shirt.
You were down with Spud, man.
I was down with Spud.
Down with Spud.
Now we don't know, of course, who Asuka's going to face at WrestleMania. I mean, we probably do, but they've still got the first Elimination Chamber match to come, which, again, I'm not annoyed at the match is happening, but I'm annoyed at the way they announced it because they've made a big deal about women for a long time in WWE, and they're like, big announcement, first ever Rumble match, big announcement, first ever this and that. Stephanie just said it casually as a passing comment.
Oh, by the way, we have a women's elimination chamber match.
Oh, okay.
Okay, thank you.
When was this announced?
Hey, split right at the spur of the moment. And by the way, I gotta ask you, speaking of Stephanie, what do you think about her commentating on the Women's Royal Rumble?
You know what? I'll admit, she wasn't that bad.
No, but yeah, at times there was like, it's all right, Stephanie, we get it, shut up. But she was okay.
I mean, she was putting everybody over. She was coming up with facts. She did okay. I won't complain about it anymore. But I still think Renee should have done it.
Yeah, she only commentated in NXT, so.
Yeah, she's only super over with the fans.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like her and Dean Ambrose are married or anything like that. No.
Right, so Fastlane is coming up as well for SmackDown.
Yes.
We don't really know which way this one's going to go either. I mean, we know Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn have got a match next week, and the winner faces AJ, which kind of annoys me because they're starting to just get it. It was awkward to watch at first because you weren't quite sure where they were going with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, but they've really come into their own as heel tag team, and now it looks like they're on the verge of breaking up already.
Which it's like, come on, man, you already like got this going where like they're the best friends and blah blah, and already you want to break them up.
Fucking Road Dogg.
Fucking Road Dogg, man. I mean, and the whole thing is too. I'll be honest with you, of the two, I think because it's different. I would love to see more AJ and Sammy than AJ and Kevin.
Yeah. But I think if Sammy wins, then they're definitely breaking up because it'll just push Kevin Owens over the edge.
Absolutely. Well, then we can finally get that Kevin Owens Sami Zayn match 1-on-1 at WrestleMania.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I seriously popped hard when Nakamura won.
Myself included, man. Myself included. And as far as SmackDown goes, all right, so I can see, I've been calling this for months, but it looks like it's going to come into fruition. We're going to get the Usos and the Bludgeon Brothers.
Oh, speaking of the Usos, that's what I was going to get to on SmackDown. What the flying fuckers with the new graphics.
Yeah, like we had that, like the social media thing with all that. Yo, Uso Penitentiary locked down, and then we see the jail and the cell and locked down. We put them all on lockdown. We've been down since day one-ish. I got my Uso right here, son. Yeah.
Just awful and unnecessary. And more annoying than the cage door closing was the captions on every promo.
Exactly. And I mean, I was going to say, dude, I like the Usos' intensity. I think they're very entertaining. But yeah, I mean, the jail cell and then the social media with the captions. I'm like, come on. I'm like, we get it. You're trying to go more social media and get the social media over. But it's like, it was rather annoying.
Very annoying. If I want to see captions, I'll turn the subtitles on.
Exactly. And I mean, we got the Bludgeon Brothers, it looks to be going against the Usos, and they killed poor Rory Gulak, who is the real-life brother of one Make 205 Live great again, Drew Gulak, and whoever his partner was. Before that, and then you have Gable and Benjamin, who friggin' jobbed out in 2 falls, just get Breezango, which, yeah. And I don't know anymore, man. And then it looks like for Fastlane, we're going to get Charlotte and Ruby Riott.
Yeah, okay.
I'm like, okay. I mean, I know she's going to lose, but hey. And then you could have Logan and, what's her face? Liv Morgan go against, I don't know, Naomi and Becky. I'm just spitballing here, but they could do that. But, I mean, it is what it is, man. I mean, I thought SmackDown was okay. And, I mean, friggin' poor Ty Dillinger had to do the job again because, of course. And, I mean, poor Ty. That's all I can say. Every time I see Ty Dillinger, it's sad because I know he's going to lose.
Well, one thing I want to know, I know it was Becky Lynch's birthday, but where the hell was she when Charlotte was getting her ass kicked?
Yeah, what the hell, Becky? I mean, just let your poor best friend get, 3-on-1 attack right there. What in the world?
Was she just too busy eating birthday cake in the back, or did she not care?
I mean, friggin' Sarah Logan got to hit her with that cartwheel kick again, man.
Now, back to Raw quickly, because there's something we forgot about when we were talking about Cena and Finn Balor.
Mm-hmm.
They made a big deal about how Cena was reacting to the crowd. And obviously we all know Cena doesn't really let the crowd bother him. It's not who he is. He just plays along with it. He takes it in his stride because he's always got mixed reactions. But he was purposely showing that he was getting bothered by the negative crowd reaction this week, and the commentators kept pointing it out all the way through the match. So it just makes you wonder where they're going with it, because surely they're not finally going to turn Cena heel, are they?
I don't know, man. But, John Jack does not get bothered by the fans. My time is up. My time is now.
Hey,
Jack.
I mean, if anything, you'd expect Finn Balor to turn heel, and then we'd have the heel club.
Club, yes. Oh, man. But, yeah, I mean, I would have, like I said, Finn Balor should have won, but I get it. I don't know. Maybe we'll see a Balor-Cena feud come up. I'm trying to figure it out, man. I mean, here's the thing. If they do Cena and Elias not at Mania, but at the Chamber, I could totally see... Oh, wait, no, they're in the Chamber. I'm sorry. Then obviously they're going to do the match at Mania. My bad. But a lot of people want to see a Taker-Cena match. Or something with Taker involved at WrestleMania. I mean, do you want to see Taker go at it one more time? I know. It's a tough one. It's a tough one because it's just like you had that weird-ass speech at Raw 25, and then you're like, is he retiring? Is he not retiring? What's going on here?
I kind of looked at it as a retirement speech.
That's how I kind of thought, too. But I'm like, I don't know. You never know with The Undertaker. Oh, and by the way, are we going to get Seth Rollins against Dad? Give us a rematch, Dad. My head. Ow. We're going to get it, and Jason Jordan's going to... Dad?
Actually, there's one thing I'm going to say now. Because Nakamura won the Rumble, and it looks like we're finally getting AJ Styles and Nakamura, I don't care what they do with Roman Reigns. I'm not going to let it bother me. If he faces Brock, I don't care. And Jason Jordan as well. I don't care anymore. Do whatever. I'm just happy.
Yeah, man. There you go. That's the way you gotta be. You're just happy because you're happy. You're like Pharrell over here. You're just happy. But
I don't care what else happened at WrestleMania. We got Nakamura Styles. That's all I care about.
Exactly. And I mean, there's going to be some other stuff as well, but we shall see. But the big one is Styles and Nakamura. Yes. Yep.
Yep. But you just watch, it won't be the main event.
Yeah, of course not. Because, of course, we got to put Brock and Roman in the main event again. Oh, and do you see Carmella cashing in on the grandest stage of them all? And, like, I mean, we tried. We had a failed cash in this week, but do you think she'll cash in on Charlotte at Mania?
Like, I literally leaned to the edge of my seat when her music hit. I thought she was actually going to cash in.
Then she drop kicks the ref. God
Man. Yeah, I'm looking forward to Carmella cashing in. I'm sure it will be at the Rumble now. They let enough time pass where you nearly forget that she's got the briefcase, but then they bring in a false cash in and just remind you she's still got it. So it's coming.
It is coming.
I think it'll definitely come before we get to the next Money in the Bank. Well, it has to, otherwise she's wasted it.
Durr. 1 year. Hello.
So, on to the other side of wrestling, which is the company of many names.
Oh, you're really going to make me get this out of the way now, aren't you? Okay, here we go.
Oh, let's do it. Let's play the music.
Impact in 3, 2, 1.
All right, so it's Impact in 60 seconds, and we just had Genesis this past week for Impact Wrestling. Hey, guys, remember when that was a pay-per-view? Okay, so now we got Matt Sydal beating EC3 in what was a very good match for the Grand Championship because, you know, EC3 is on NXT now, and even though he's there for a couple more shows, but we shall see if they edit that out. We have Laurel Van Ness, who's also gone and looks to be going to WWE, defeat Allie to retain the Knockouts Championship, so we're going to see her on more shows. Moose got the win over Lashley, who also, by the way, is gone, even though he's going to be doing some more shows. And then Lashley finally speared KM and took out Dan Lambert and speared him through the table. We saw a matchup from Pro Wrestling Noah with Ishimori defending the X Division Championship against Andrew Everett, and yes, he still does work there. It was fine for what it was. Ishimori gets the win with the 450 splash, and then we get to the main event of Eli Drake with Johnny Impact and Alberto El Patron. Triple threat, 6 sides of steel. It was a photo finish. Who's going to get out first? Is it going to be Eli Drake? Is it going to be Johnny Impact? Well, Chris Adonis, who again is also not there anymore because he's had enough. So Chris Adonis catches Johnny Impact, and Eli Drake escapes the cage with the championship. And then next week is the match as A-Double makes his return and defeats Eli Drake for the Global Championship. Yay. And that was Impact in 60 seconds.
Yay.
Yay. I'm sorry. But how can I be enthused when both of these people are not there anymore? And then we're going to get Austin Aries next week, which, yay. And then we're going to get Brian Cage, which, yay. And we're going to get Su Yung, yay. And I mean, okay. Now, this will go back to what I was mentioning, because did you see I sent the poster, by the way?
Yes, I just saw it. And, dude,
Yeah.
where's my champion?
Yeah, where's our champion? So if you actually look at this photo, guys, for what we got going in the California area at the end of March. So on the poster, it's Alberto El Patron in front, Taya Valkyrie, Rosemary, Brian Cage, Matt Sydal, Trevor Lee, Eddie Edwards, LAX, Santana, and Ortiz, Eli Drake, and Moose. Where's Austin Aries? Moose! Where's Austin Aries? I mean, it's Big Time Wrestling presents Impact, don't get me wrong, but yeah, no Aries. I mean, you would think you'd want your champion on the card, but I mean, that's just me. But hey, whatever.
Hey.
It's Impact.
Yeah, I mean, it's a house show, isn't it? But,
It's a house show.
I mean, it's not
But-
like he's Brock Lesnar. Austin Aries surely works house shows.
That's what I'm saying, man. But I just mean, you would think you'd want to book your champion, but yeah, so we got Impact out of the way. We got Redemption, and tonight, they're actually, as we're recording this, they're going to show Aries winning the championship, which, yay. And, but yeah, and I mean, speaking of more releases, it looks like, so on the Impact side of things, on their website, they added Diamante, DJ Z, Ava Story, who worked there for a cup of coffee, and I believe, oh my God, who was the other one? But they added some more people to their alumni section. So DJ Z, Diamante, and yeah, Ava Story. So there's a couple people that look to be going there. Well, number one with DJ Z, great talent, but he's injury prone. Diamante is injury prone, but we shall see if Diamante comes back to check them hoes. Ava Story is Okay, who cares? Casey Spinelli, they didn't update to their Knockouts roster page, so we'll see if she's going to be continuing to work there. I mean, she's wrestled in Canada, but let's see if she still works there after these set of tapings. But yeah, man, who knows? That company is in such flux, it's not even funny.
As we say every week.
We're going to sound like broken records, but we say it every week.
It is. I mean, people say WWE fans are like domestic abuse victims and like, oh, it'll be better next time with the booking, but Impact is worse.
But, at Impact's okay. We're doing okay. We got Don Callis and Scott D'Amore. Hey, we added Brian Cage. Excuse me. We added Sue Young. I'm starting at the case of insomnia. I'm talking about Impact. There you go. No. Oh, man. So, to finish my train of thought, but it's just like, you guys just lost. I know some people are like, we'll still move the needle, and I'm looking at you, a certain lounge. Oh, they're still going to move the needle and blah, 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 blah. But I'm like, you just lost your heart and soul with Jeremy Borash. You lost the heart and soul. Someone who's been there since day one-ish. And then he goes.
And it's gone.
And it's gone. Well, yeah, people turn into it. It is what it is, and they've had enough. But yeah, tune in, people. Aries just won the championship. Yay!
All right then, let's get the match times for. Actually, let me see if I can get the match times for Raw, SmackDown, and NXT this week.
Oh.
So, Raw had 7 matches.
As far as time goes, I'm going to give it, I think, a little over an hour. I'll give it like an hour and 5.
Very, 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 very close. Actually, this doesn't include the Tag Team Championship match because for some reason the time isn't listed for that one. So without
who cares about the tag teams? Damn it.
Without that match, it was 1 hour 6 minutes.
Well, bite me. It was like right there. Not you. I'm not telling you to bite me, but the friggin' match times not include the tag title match.
Yeah.
That was not directed towards you. That was towards the match times.
Ugh. And SmackDown had 5 matches. I got the times for all of these, by the way.
Oh, good. Okay. So 42 minutes.
Close again.
Yeah?
40 minutes, 17 seconds.
Oh, okay. I was over by 2 minutes. Okay, so I gotta say, it had to be like 30 or 40 minutes. So there you go.
Yeah, and let's take a look at the dark matches for Raw and SmackDown. Raw, 2 dark matches. One was Bayley defeating Sonya Deville. Because why not? And then there was a 6-man cruiserweight tag match. Kalisto, Lince Dorada, Gran Metalik defeated Arya Daivari, Jack Gallagher, and TJP.
Poor freaking Gallagher is doing the J.O.B. to Tommy, and he's trying to stick up to be the new man with a plan, but it's not working, man. I like me some Jack Gallagher. I'm tired of seeing him lose. TJP is kind of funny because he finally gets the win in the tournament, but we know he's losing to Cedric Alexander.
Yeah. And SmackDown only had 1 dark match, which was Naomi defeating Natalya.
Yeah, I'm alright with that. Yeah, I can't really say anything bad about that. But I'm like Sonya Deville and Bayley. Sonya Deville is like one of the newer girls, and Absolution, and they're on a tear. But then, Roadblock.
All right, now with NXT, let's just remember, of course, it was taped after TakeOver, so it was mainly filler this week with recaps and then a couple of matches. So 3 matches on the show.
Match time wise, well, the TM61 match was rather short. Same with Nikki Cross and Lacey Evans, who, oh my God, I love that woman, which we'll get into. But and then the third match was the longest. I'm gonna say it's got to be like 34 minutes.
Much less. It was 15 minutes 44 seconds.
What the fucking fuck, man? I'm trying to be like optimistic and go with these like matches, but then I didn't realize it was only 15 minutes. Are you kidding me?
So Nikki Cross and Lacey Evans was 2.5 minutes.
Oh shit, man! It just felt a little longer than that. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
And TM61 and the early rubbers was 3 minutes 18 seconds, and then the main event between Roddy and Tyler Bate was 9 minutes 57 seconds.
See, it felt longer than that because, Tyler Bate, Big Mac spectacle, Roderick Strong. I mean, they're stiffing the shit out of each other. And I'm thinking, all right, we're going to have like this classic. So it only went 9 minutes? Jeez.
Yes. But man, another great match, of course, as we said, from Tyler Bate.
Okay. And I think it's great that we have the Pete Dunne, Roderick Strong match, which I'll be honest with you, I would love to see that at TakeOver WrestleMania. I would love to save it for that instead of doing it on like a NXT show, which, don't get me wrong, it'd still be great, but I'd love to see, on the big stage.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne quite a few times, so I'm cool with Roddy Strong. Although I am surprised, for some reason, that Tyler Bate didn't win it. I think it's because I saw him the night before after 205 being interviewed backstage and just assumed that something big was happening with him.
Exactly. And the thing is, too, I would have loved to see either him or Pete Dunne in the Rumble.
Yeah, I think Pete Dunne would have got a great reaction.
And the man wants to fight Brock Lesnar.
Yes, as does Aleister Black.
Okay. Brock Lesnar's a tough guy. But friggin' Aleister Black coming at him with those kicks.
Oh,
Yeah, bro.
now they'd be stiff.
Now, okay. I want to see Brock Lesnar try to punch Aleister Black in the face like he did to Braun Strowman. I want to see how that dichotomy happens.
Yeah. Well, there we go. I think we've covered everything from this week. I think we did pretty well to get all that in the second part of the show. Well, thank you, people, for listening. Don't forget, you can find us on YouTube, Podomatic, iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and, of course, on Facebook at Max Wrestling UK. For new episodes in advance and other news and good wrestling banter, you can join our interactive group at facebook.com/groups/Max Wrestling Interactive. And you can also find me at Dazzy MWP. When the Butcher's around, you can find him at 69Butcher. And, of course, you can find our captain, Mike Larkin, at...
Well, you guys can check me out on SoundCloud, MCLarkin92, or on the Twitter at SMShow1 or at MCL92. One of the names who I mentioned when we were discussing Impact, sorry to do that, but as we were talking Impact, Casey Spinelli is actually going to be coming on my show very, very soon. So I'm either going to be seeing former Impact superstar or current Impact Wrestling knockout. We shall see how that goes because, that company. And number two, big thank you again, as we had Kelly Klein on today earlier in the first part of the show. Kelly's going to be doing some more audios with me on the S&M Show Podcast Network, so stay tuned. And yeah, just a lot of great stuff from our network, the Max Wrestling Podcast. And I mean, I'm really looking forward to seeing what we have going on in the future. And Kenny Killer, coming for the championship.
Yes, thank you again to Kelly Klein, and we do of course look forward to Pro Mania featuring Killer versus Larkin. Of course, you can show our other shows some love. You can catch the whole first season of Throne Zone at Throne Zone UK. Season 2 will be coming this summer, where we'll be taking a look at each season per episode while we count down to the final season. And Hidden Gems is available at DB Hidden Gems. The latest episode is still The Butcher and myself talking See No Evil, Hear No Evil, starring Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder. You gotta check it out because it's a cult classic comedy. Hopefully more Pryor and Wilder coming soon, as we're looking hopefully at Stir Crazy for the next episode. And that is the bottom line.
And if you're not down with that, we got 2 words for you.
Kelly Klein.
Yeah. The gatekeeper. The pretty badass. And I also got 3 words for you. Impact cures insomnia.